big yellow plane.
Rafale. This is the FMS Rafale 80 millimeter. I've flown this for a bit now. You can tell it's not new. But I do like the quality of it. It actually has really good quality. The landing gear is awesome.
Yeah, landing gear looks good.
Really, really good. And I like the amount of dampening, especially the front gear has. And you'll see when I come in for my landings, it's actually really nice. Mm-hmm. A couple of weird things. So you can tell the nozzles are not there. The you know, the covers, they're just like decorative covers, but they're black and very thin plastic. And sitting in my car or being out here, I'm not sure which, they started melting.
Yeah, same thing happened with my FMS 70 millimeter F18.
Really? They use really thin plastic, which I guess is good for weight, but not good for longevity.
Yeah. And it wasn't even the sun, being exposed to the sunlight. It was just, I don't know what it was.
Yeah. And this one, the front landing gear, this thing would not retract on a maiden. Like, I've had this plane for a bit, but during the maiden, it wouldn't retract. And this, like, is two pieces and it slides within each other. And like that piece, yeah, it was like solid. Yeah. So, you know, I had to figure that out. But, you know, besides that, I actually do like the quality. I'm not a big fan of the paint scheme.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Honestly, that's the only reason why I haven't bought one myself. It's just like, I know it's going to be work to repaint it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing.
And the other thing is the really cool thing is if you just want to get up in the air, this is really cool because they have a mixing board that does everything for you. So when you, here, I'll put it down on the ground.
So the canards are already mixed. Like you just treat them as...
So right now, if you were to hit your flaps, it does this. And so every surface moves. You got a crow action in the rear and you got your canards moving. And when you go to full, that's full. Doesn't seem much, but since that's every surface, it is a lot. It does slow down quite a bit. That's
on the stock mixing board? You didn't program that?
No, this is not the stock mixing board. I actually took out the stock mixing board because when you hit the flap switch or you put on a slider, it just sort of snaps into position. I don't like that. So I have it on a slider so I can make it go smooth. You know, so, but that's just me. I mean, all I did, I honestly, I have no idea how to program a frickin', you know, like
canard.
Canard with Delta and everything else. I have no idea. So I just took and measured what it was stock and then did the mix, but did it manually. That's all, you know. Okay. So this plane does not have a gyro, so it's not the one with the built-in gyro. So there's no gyro in this plane. And quite honestly, I don't think it needs it. This thing's pretty damn good.
Yeah, most Deltas are
super stable.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly haven't flown this a lot because I've been trying to get good with the F-16. But now that I crashed my F-16,
replacement.
You know, so now I get to play with this one.
Yeah, man, that livery is just...
It's a little much.
It just looks like a bad tattoo job.
Yeah. A drunken tattoo job. Yeah, it's just a little bit much. All right, here we go. Big ass crack. Yeah.
Gotta pop a wheelie just to get on the wrong
Oh, you know what? Just because it happened to you, I'm just gonna check my surfaces.
Oh yeah, dude.
Okay, yeah, it looks good.
Taking off with one wing in crow mode.
Yeah. All right, here we go. For whatever reason, it requires a long rollout, and then when it finally gets, you know, to speed, it just shoots up in the air.
Yeah.
This thing's got a lot of power. It doesn't seem to have a lot of speed. So I'm gonna put the gear up. And I've got, there it goes, all right. That's all it's got. But it's got power, it's got vertical.
Vertical, yeah.
And the roll rate is fantastic. You know, so it's good. There is, I think somebody just told me today, RC Geek has a nozzle which reduces the size of the intake. So I'm going to give that a shot. I think he's charging 22 bucks for it. Might as well do it.
Well, that's not bad at all for
printed. But this thing, high alphas like nothing else. Like, I think easier than the 70 millimeter F-16, which I've been learning on. You know, this thing just, like, look at that. It's so easy. You know, the big wing on this thing just makes it like, wow, you know? So that's what I've been practicing a lot of. So most of this flight's going to be that, unfortunately, if you don't like that. But that's all I've been doing is just trying to get good at it. You know, I'm an older guy that requires a lot of learning. But look at that. So I just get on the throttle and shoot out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got really good power. I just think it's more for torque than it is for all-out speed, you know? I don't know if it's draggy airframe, maybe the big, I don't know, you know? But, man, I do like the way this flies, and honestly, for high alpha, I think it's easier to do. I think the F-16 actually gets slower. But that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So this is no gyro, right? But
no gyro.
yeah, so that's really stable. It doesn't rock as much as the F-16.
But look at the roll rate. I mean, it's really good. No, this one, so right now, I'm at half flaps. I used to try to high alpha with no flaps, and I would get a lot of wing rock on this thing. And I also like played around with CG and adjusted it, you know, quite a bit. So I got it to, but I'm not sure which one like fixed it. But with the CG more aft and with more flaps, then at high alpha is pretty good. Before it used to rock.
You were saying that there's a certain, when it's a steeper angle, it seems more stable than
before.
When it's a lower, okay.
Like now, I can do it on all. So if you notice, like there was, you know, I did some like high alphas that weren't that severe, and I did a couple that were, and now it seems pretty good, especially with the flaps deployed. If I do half flaps, it works. I do full flaps, I think it drags too much, and then it tends to drop. All right, this is the last one, then I got to bring it in. All right, gear down. Yeah, this is a good plane. The roll rate's fantastic. It's super stable. Doesn't need a gyro. The funny thing is like on FMS's site, they have the reflex gyro version of this plane, and it's only for Canada. Why does Canada get gyros, but we don't? You know, but I don't really think it really needs it.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, it's been rock solid ever since you took off.
Well, you see that little bounce, those gear work really good.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, the front gear is super soft.
Yeah.
The rear gear are super stiff, and the balance that they got, I think, is perfect for this plane.
Yeah.
You know, FMS did a good job on this. I really do think they did. A couple of quality issues, but that's with any plane. There's always going to be something.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, I mean the thing with the shrouds being so flimsy, I just don't get that.
I don't understand it. I mean, I guess to keep the weight light, it's all the way in the back.
Yeah,
but
I mean, there's
you know,
got to be some other material they can use.
It's especially if you paint it black. You know, sitting in my car with like in the heat, just transporting it, just destroyed it. One of them got destroyed before the other one, and it was just the weirdest thing. And I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to pull them off. You know, but yeah, so this is right now. So like that's in half flaps. So the majority of that flight was in half flaps, and half flap seems to be good for high alpha for this plane. The only difference is that I did on my setup is if you look at the tail with the mixing board that's in it, ailerons right now work as full span, even with the flaps. The original mix that they had that was built into the mixing board is just the outboards. But besides that, it's the same, like the same measurements. I haven't done anything. I do want to see if I can get more throw and see what it does. But when I go to full flaps, which is, look at the difference is not a lot. See that? So, but when I go to full flaps, it slows down quite a damn bit. And when I come in and I try to do high alpha on full flaps, you got to give it a lot of power. So it's kind of not good. So I think half flaps made it more stable. And, you know, there's probably going to be a lot more people that know how to do this better than I do. I mean, I'm like, this is still me like learning how to do all this stuff, and there's a lot of people that understand aerodynamics better than I do. But for me, it seems like half flaps for high alpha seems to work really well. And right when I do it, I got the elevator compensation where the plane just sort of, as soon as I do it, it just sort of like does this. It just goes up just a bit.
Yeah.
And so it already starts my high alpha for me, which is really nice. And the setup is really good in my opinion for it. So
Nice.
I'll still play with it and see if I can get it a little bit better. But, I was going to try to do a bunch more mixes on this and a lot more crazy stuff, but thing flies. And it flies well, so I'm going to leave it.
Ooh. Rafale.